Carolyne DeFranco, and I'm the CEO of Gateway Longview and the president of New View Alliance. I have 7 children, and my youngest is adopted. I was a foster parent, so we had kids coming in and out, but I had no intention of adopting. I wanted to work on reunifying families, so I knew there was a need for true foster parents. When I became a foster parent, I said I would take older teens. Did not matter. I know those are the ones where the need was the greatest. But I had teens myself at the time, and that really was a challenge. And they say don't take placements the same age as your own kids. I thought I could defy those, but they were right. It was a challenge having a whole house of teenagers. And they called me about Jacob. I said I had a developmentally delayed brother that I took care of as well, and I said that's probably the one thing I do not want to do is take youth that have developmental delays. I thought I had my fill. I could deal with the mouthy teenagers, but just it was the developmental delays that I thought would be a challenge. And they called me and said there's a 3-year-old boy. We just need to write 3 families' names down for potential adoptions or potential foster homes. We have 2 families that really want him, and we just need to put your name down. Would that be okay? And I said, all right. And I really didn't want anybody that young. I got a call 3 days later saying both homes declined, and would I become his foster parent? And of course I said yes, and I thought it was going to be temporary, and I met his parents. I wanted to see if I could help, work with his family and getting them to reunify the family. I did my best, but that unfortunately was not the case. We're still very much involved with his biological parents. They come over on holidays. I make sure they see him. They're wonderful people. They just didn't have the capacity to meet all of Jacob's needs. So he came into my home at 3, and I think by the time he was 6 or 7, the adoption was finalized. He became my son as much as anyone else. I mean, we could not, it was unanimous. It was not only me, but my kids, we couldn't part with him. He immediately became their brother. I couldn't have done it without my 6 older children. I work full time, and he needed to be taken off the bus. He needs 24/7 supervision. So my kids, even though they were in high school and in middle school at the time and elementary, they took turns watching him. It was like a given that okay, who's on Jacob duty? And it was just routine. It was part of our life, because you can't cook dinner and watch Jacob. He's extremely busy. And so it was just part of our routine, between 6 and 7. Do you have Jacob? Okay, I got him now. You get him for an hour. And it was just part of our daily routine of taking care of him. And he became so much ingrained in everything that we did. We enjoyed, decorating. It really rejuvenated our whole family, because we started decorating a lot for Halloween and the holidays, and getting him, so excited about all of those things. So he really, and still to even this past weekend, even though my kids are in their late 20s now, they all came home to be with Jacob, to take him on a hayride and to make sure he goes to that scary Halloween store, I forgot the name of it, and to get him scared, and he's still their little brother. It wasn't the adoption. I think working with the system of care for Jacob and working with all the providers has been a challenge. I get to see it as a recipient and not just a provider. So I'm on the other side. I've been the recipient of several of the services that Gateway provides. I see the challenges going through multiple workers. When every time a worker leaves, it's a major loss. The advocacy never ends. It doesn't stop at adoption. You're continuously advocating for your child's needs, which it really is a full-time job. And there's it's a whole culture of other parents who, it really takes a parent of a special needs child, whatever that may be, to really relate to how much energy and time and pain it takes to continuously advocate for your child. It never stops. And you lay in bed and you think about what you need to do that day and what needs to be done. And when you're not with them, you hope there's enough people out there that are compassionate and kind and understanding, that are taking care of them when you're not there. So I don't know if it's the adoption or just, life. But that doesn't stop. Then again, that's with my other kids as well. It's not like he's my only one that I worry about, right? Or that I have those concerns with. I'm all 6 of them, and the other 6. And it doesn't stop when they're in their adults either. It actually sometimes gets worse because you have less control, and the pain is even more real. So I think that's just being a parent. He has 3 other half siblings, and he does not keep in touch with them. They were all, they are not with the parents. They've all were adopted out by other family members. I was very lucky once the parents actually had a party, and so I was able to meet them. And we all got together, and I got to meet the people who adopted them, some beautiful people who were extended relatives and of the family who adopted his other siblings. And they remember when Jacob was very, very little, and they filled in a lot of the gaps before he was 3 and came into my home, what it was like when he was born, how he couldn't lift up his head, how they thought he would be profoundly, profoundly delayed, to the point where he would have to be just bedridden for the rest of his life. So he jumps in a pool. He's a great swimmer. He plays baseball, he plays basketball to the best. He's out there playing soccer. I mean, and when they could not, it was a joy to see, wow, how much he's really thrived. That was very gratifying to hear how far he's come, especially because they all said they were the first people that CPS called, right, were the people of his siblings, and they said when they met Jacob, he was so delayed that they said they couldn't take on that level of need. But he's really just come a long way. He's still not as verbal. Very few people can understand him. Our family, my kids can't understand, my other people can't understand him because he seems to be talking fine to us, but then it's one of those that everybody understands your own kid's language, and we know his world. We know he's not talking politics. We know he's talking about, we know what he's, in the range of where he's been, so we understand we could have long conversations with him. I don't think other people are able to do that. It takes you have to spend a considerable amount of time with him before you can even understand what he's saying. But when you get that far, he just loves to talk. And you can see when people understand him and he's talking, he gets so excited. Yes, and can you imagine the joy if people can't understand you when you're talking, and all of a sudden you find somebody to be able to listen that really understands you? So that's why he loves coming home, and and when the rest of the siblings are there. Unfortunately, a few years ago, I put Jacob in a group home because I got a call saying that if he was going to go into a group home, that he should do it now because there would not be a placement open when he was 18. Sometimes it took years and years to get into it when you become 18. And I knew that with my brother, that he was on a waiting list my parents were in their 70s before they could put my older brother, in a home. So I said, and they said they would keep him very active, and I thought this was the best thing for Jacob, so I did put him in a home a few years ago, and we bring him home as much as we can. He's home on weekends and several times during the week. We're still involved in the Special Olympics. My husband is at 60 years old, my husband, who never did it with my other kids, ice skates with Jacob in the special, for developmentally delayed people with special needs. I bowl with him once a week, so we're all very much involved in what he's still doing, but he is in a group home. I don't know if I have any advice. I really don't. Just enjoy them and love them, but you know that.